Well, Borodar, good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Pulse stage. It's a pleasure to have you here today for the third and final day of Wales Tech Week. Talent4Tech is Wales's ultimate career event here at Wales Tech Week, and it's powered by Technology Connected, and it recognises that tech is the future. It's shaping every industry from healthcare and gaming to space exploration and sustainable energy. As technology evolves, the demand for skilled workers is growing faster than ever, and hopefully some of you guys will be those workers of the future. So our session here is called How to Find, Grow and Keep Great Tech Talent. The session is your shortcut to understanding the full range of support available to employers in Wales in this sector. And chairing the panel is Jaime Hindle. Jaime is founder and lead consultant and has had 25 years commercial experience in-house on the client side of his agency. Please welcome Jaime and our fantastic panel to the stage.
Morning, everyone, and a warm welcome on a cold and frosty Newport day. I'd like to kick off by introducing the panel here today. On the far side, I've got Simon Drinkwater, who is the founder and director of HR Partnership. Welcome. And Lisa Mytton, who is the director of the National Training Federation for Wales. Andrew Granville is Net Zero and Digital Skills Policy Lead for Welsh Government. And Chris Woods is at Innovate UK, Knowledge Transfer Partner Advisor. I apologise. So let's kick things off. Firstly, Simon, just give us 30 seconds on kind of your background and the area in which you have kind of expertise.
So, hi everyone. So my name's Simon Drinkwater. I am a people and AI consultant, which basically means that I try and support businesses understand how the people journey that they take their workforce on, given the sort of arrival of AI. So my background is 28 years in certainly HR, in a range of organizations from very large globals, companies like AXA, PwC, you may have heard of, down to smaller SMEs, including a Microsoft partner. So simply that really is trying to support businesses take their people on this journey, whatever it's going to look like, thanks to AI.
Go for it.
Thank you. So my name is Lisa Mytton, Strategic Director for the National Training Federation Wales, as you said. And my role and responsibility is to advocate and lobby government for support for apprenticeships in Wales, to make sure that we give people of every age the opportunity to get qualified and to take an apprenticeship journey and really upskill as well if they find themselves, out of a job or made redundant. And also, more importantly as well, is helping those young people with that transition from school into post-16 education. 30-odd years now in the business, but I think more importantly, at the age of 16, I became an apprentice myself, and that's where my passion for apprenticeships comes from. Thank you.
Thank you. Andrew.
So I'm Andrew Granville. I'm head of Net Zero and Digital Skills in the Welsh Government. So I run a team who look after the policy framework for both net zero, green skills, and digital skills, looking after things like cyber skills, AI, policy. And I guess we're just trying to pull together the best possible sort of framework and support kind of mechanism across the skill system in Wales, all the various partners doing their bits of delivery to make sure that we can kind of, we can provide the best possible sort of foundation for a lot of the great work that's going on, and bring it together into something quite cohesive and something which pull together a strong narrative on digital skills in particular.
Yeah, great. And Chris.
Thank you. Hi everyone, Chris Woods. I'm a knowledge transfer advisor for an organisation called Innovate UK. I substantively work on a programme called Knowledge Transfer Partnership. What that essentially does, in a nutshell, is we have a business and we pair them up with universities to deliver innovation projects. Where that starts getting really exciting is we recruit an individual to deliver these projects. That person is employed by the university, but they work for the company. And really what we see in there is a fantastic role for an individual looking to take on a lot of responsibility, gain a lot of opportunity, and really accelerate their careers. So that's one purpose of the program. It's innovation driven at its heart. And I should very quickly just say my background's in engineering, specifically orthopedic bioengineering. So I used to design and make implants for your knees and your hips and any other joint you care to think of. And I now work in innovation capacity.
Cool. So just hold on to the mic there, Chris. Let's kick things off and set the scene. When you look at the tech ecosystem in Wales, what do you think is the single biggest barrier that is holding back growth? And what's the most overlooked opportunity?
Okay, so I'm going to take this from my own perspective, as you'd hope I would. So when I look at Knowledge Transfer Partnership, the program I work on, which is substantively about collaboration, it's about squeezing as much juice out of the lemon as we can of innovation. Oh, there we go.
That innovation lemon.
Exactly that. But when I reflect across the whole of the UK, Wales is underweight in these programs. And what that tells me is the rest of the UK have seen something that we're maybe slightly slower to
missing
in Wales. Yeah, we're missing. And for me, that is the sense of opportunity that comes with collaboration. And where you get to mix basically an exciting company that wants to do something innovative and progressive with either a university, a research technology organization, or one of our fantastic catapults.
Yep.
You get something really, really exciting. And in that mix, as I just said earlier, what comes out of it is proper recruitment, really good quality jobs, and really fantastic opportunity. So yeah, to the opportunity piece, KTP is on a national level open to everyone, and in Wales there can be no limits. We can do as many as we want, and the more you do, as a general rule of thumb, it's a great proxy for how great you are at collaborating around innovation. So yeah, the opportunity is there, and I think we can all do what we can to try and seize that.
Great, thanks, Chris. Andrew.
So I think probably the biggest barrier is money.
Okay.
There's never quite enough of it for everything you want to do, so it's about being really smart about what you can do.
Yep.
And I think linked to that idea of keeping the best talent in Wales and having a kind of really strong pipeline to bring them through from schools, from HE and FE into industry, and actually making that really easy for people to do and kind of selling it to people. So I think that's one of the big challenges around it. And I think the kind of opportunity is linked to that. It's about being really smart about where we put our money and how we invest, and pulling together a really strong, compelling narrative on what Welsh digital and what Welsh tech looks like. So it's not about just trying to throw it at everything, but actually where are we really good? Where do we have strengths?
Have an identity.
Things like cyber, things like compound semiconductors and fintech, and all these kind of areas where we know have a really strong, and using those as your foundations to then build from.
Yeah.
And not just, because it's a competitive world out there, and there's
very
lots
much
more money in other places. So being smarter with our money rather than necessarily just hoping for more.
Yeah. Thank you.
For me, I think the barrier is that, unfortunately, due to migration, we lose a lot of skilled people from Wales, maybe over the border into Bristol and then up into London. So I think the opportunity for us is really for employers to understand, lobbying for apprentices, but, the importance of apprenticeships, the availability of apprenticeships. They're developing at such, a fast speed now, a quick speed, and they are moving with the times. So we now have apprenticeships in gaming, coding, cybersecurity, fintech, all of these. I'm going to say weird and wonderful. I shouldn't say weird in Wales Tech.
Cool.
It does blow my mind, I have to say. But these wonderful, new ways to converse, to work within not just Wales, but within the world.
Yep.
And I think it's understanding and working with employers to have that talent pipeline in Wales, to give people opportunities and to understand that the apprenticeships are there to be able to do that. And then you have somebody within your workplace that's not only learning a qualification, but they're earning at the same time, and you're growing your industry, you're helping the economy and growing your own business as well. So that's the opportunity for me.
Everybody wins.
Well, I'll just keep it very short because everyone's made some good points. For me, one of the biggest barriers is that we risk making everything too complicated. There's an awful lot of networks, there's a lot of resource hubs, there's a lot of funding. And it's, as somebody who, I guess, in the last 10 months has just gone out sort of setting up on my own business, if you like, is you realize that there is so much good support, so much great, so many great organizations. It's how do we keep it simple? How do we make sure that the businesses are talking to the universities? They are aware of the skills, development that's there. So simplicity is a big one for me, and I'll probably therefore look to Welsh Government to say, look, try and help us keep it simple. And then I think the opportunity for Wales is community. I mean, it's one thing, somebody who hasn't lived here for 25 years is you realise the networks, the ability to meet people, to bring businesses together, etc., is a real opportunity. But again, if we can do it in a simplistic way, then I think that's where the growth comes. The more complicated it is, people, they get tired, they get worn out, they go, I can't be bothered, we'll do it ourselves. And that's where I think progress will be slow.
Great. So whilst you're there, Simon, second question, what are the things that Welsh tech employers are consistently getting wrong? And what are they getting wrong in terms of attracting and retaining talent, and what should they be doing instead?
So from my perspective, and I think it'd be harsh to sit there and say Welsh companies are doing wrong, because I also think many UK companies get it wrong.
Okay.
And I think the piece for me, and you'd expect this from somebody who's worked in sort of HR in the people space for so long, is just taking a slightly longer term view around the journey that people are going to go on from the moment they're looking at your organization through to once they're in, they've joined, being upskilled, how do you retain them? And I think it's really that. It's applying some of that slightly longer term, deeper thinking about your people, what they're doing, what they're there for. And I've seen it too many times where a company underthinks it, superficially asks how are you doing, why are you here, what do you want to get out of your career, and then does nothing with it. So again, I'll bring it back. It's quite simple in my book. There's a career journey people go on. So as an employer, talk to them, understand it.
And it's different for everyone.
And it's different for everyone. Absolutely, of course. It's for a 10-person business to a 10,000-person business, very different.
Yeah.
I think for me, if SMEs, make up the majority of employers in Wales. So for me, I think it goes back to the comment that Simon made about, understanding the community that's out there as well, the support that's available. So if you're, a tech SME business in Wales, understand that there is support out there to grow your workforce. We work closely with Welsh Government, we work closely with Qualifications Wales. If there is something that you want to develop within that business, talk to us, talk to NTFW, the training providers that I represent. We liaise so closely with our colleagues. So, if you're talking about funding support or you're talking about developing a qualification, reach out and do that. And I think perhaps there's a lack of understanding. So that's one of the barriers there. But the opportunity then on the flip side is that, whether it's an SME or a larger company, blue chip company, etc., opportunities are there to be able to grow the workforce, and grow the economy as well. So it's the beauty of actually being Welsh in Wales is that it's we're able to pick up the phone and reach out and get people very, very quickly around a table or around a Teams meeting. So it can all work to open up those conversations.
It's coming back to the community thing.
Absolutely.
That, we need to really play on that, don't we? Andrew, anything to add?
Yeah, I absolutely recognise Simon's point around that kind of complexity element. And I think it's something that we're very aware of that actually can look quite daunting, can look a little bit tricky to people to navigate. So I think anything we can do collectively to help employers and individuals to kind of understand that landscape and how it sort of naturally works, I think is a really positive thing. But then there is lots of support out there as well, as you say. So actually, once people can kind of understand that and get in there are lots of options depending on their needs, what they're looking to achieve, what sector they're in, where they can can get support. So I think it's really encouraging people to look and ask. And you mentioned about prioritizing. We know it's quite a hard environment at the moment for businesses.
Yep.
And actually, it's about then putting the value on L&D, the value on apprenticeship, but the kind of more holistic value of some of these to their businesses, the longer term thinking. So I think there are options and there are support mechanisms there for these businesses to use and to make the most of, to help them with that longer term strategic thinking.
Yep.
So I think so it's about a collaborative approach to making that work.
A collaborative word again. And then, Chris, can I ask, where are you seeing the most exciting innovation in projects at the moment in Wales, and what types of projects are struggling to get support?
Okay, so obviously, we have strength and quality in some really core sectors in Wales, and I think that's, does deserve due recognition. We've got fantastic semiconductor capabilities, fintech, advanced manufacture, food, drink, packaging, agri, offshore. Yeah, I could go on.
Right.
In my line of work, it isn't necessarily the sectors that provide the most exciting innovation, and you can have something that looks and reads and sounds excellent on paper, but in reality the projects may lack a bit of life.
Doesn't stack up.
They're not typically always correlated. What really makes for quality innovation, in my experience, is the strength of partnerships that you can build. So what do I mean by that? If you basically have a really tight alignment between an organizational need and a academic or research expertise, and you've done the hard work of making them mesh, making them sit together nicely, making them deliver to one another with shared incentives and expectations around projects, what you find is the innovation and the opportunity and the quality cascades from there. So, I'm going to take a slightly contrarian, sector agnostic answer, but I really genuinely think that is where the best innovation happens. Is where the need is strongest and the match is tightest. So the flip side to that is, what's the second part of the question was?
Where are the projects that are falling short?
The ones that are falling short that just don't do the groundwork is the short answer.
So I think it's really interesting in the questions that we've had so far and the responses. There's some key themes that are coming out to me. It's partnership, it's collaboration, it's community, all of which are very much people-centric. So we're in a technology summit, but the glue and the nub of the kind of argument is around people, and that's encouraging, and I don't think that's going to change, regardless of innovation developments and new technologies coming out.
No, absolutely. We were talking about it earlier. When you're talking about the digital sector, the actual software, the actual technology changes all the time. And it's not so much about getting to grips with the latest technology. It's about those underpinning skills. It's about the people. It's about the structures to cope with that change and to react to it and still navigate our way through. That's where the real value is.
So on that point then, Andrew, what skills are we lacking or needing to develop and needing to invest in order to take advantage?
So I think that there are sort of critical thinking skills which are absolutely essential to working with digital tools and AI, and there's a lot of conversation going into how we work from curriculum level through to industry and everything in between, in terms of giving people the right foundation of skills to be able to just operate in the broader sense in the digital kind of economy.
Yeah.
So I think I don't think there are specific sort of skills which are missing as such. There's a mindset to it. There's a think about digitization and how we do things differently and how we use AI and other bits as really useful tools in what we're trying to do. Mm-hmm. So I think there's activity we can do around the digital sector, and then there's also things like every business can benefit from thinking about how they could do things digitized, how they could save time, save money, kind of unlock people to do different, better bits of work and when add extra value. So I think it's quite a broad, holistic picture, but I think every business can benefit from it if they think about it and put a bit of kind of that thought into where they can see personal benefit in their own area.
Mm-hmm. Lisa, skills-wise, what are we missing?
For me, it's getting the message across to our young people. Undoubtedly, within the Welsh curriculum, within any of those, thinking about what their career is going to look like. It's understanding what opportunities are now available and what works hand in hand. As I said, two of our largest growth industries in Wales at the moment, obviously, is tech, but it's also creative industries, and they work in partnership together. We've got Lucasfilms here, Netflix, gaming, coding businesses, now actually having their bases in Wales.
Exciting stuff.
And we need the tech behind that. You look at films and TV programs, etc., and games, as I said, they have AI behind it. They have all of this digital creativity behind it, cyber, etc. And I think it's letting our young people know that those opportunities are out there. As I said, I advocate for apprenticeships, but also working with colleges and HE as well, to open up and widen these opportunities. But I think careers advice and guidance to let people know these opportunities out, then we can grow the skills talent from there then and have a growth in that industry to continue far beyond what we're talking about today.
Andrew, Simon.
I'll share a sort of a phrase I learned many years ago, which I think is a skill that, whatever age you are, is critical. Is restless curiosity. Restless curiosity, which is just continuously looking and learning, exploring, whether you're looking for a job, whether you're in a job, whether you're an organization trying to understand what's going on in the big wide world. It's always about, the pace of change is getting faster and faster and faster. And, my fear for people will be they'll struggle to keep up.
Sure.
So just be, restlessly curious about yourself. What makes you resilient? What makes you stronger? What makes you, what motivates you? So start there. But that phrase has stuck with me for about 20 odd years, and it's served me well personally. Just continually learn, never stop, and then you'll adjust depending how society and business goes.
I think that's really interesting because we can talk about numeracy and literacy as an absolute baseline, and then we're leading into technical skills. But what about the personal element, the resilience?
For me, it's all about the person. It starts there.
Yeah.
You'd expect me to say that.
Okay.
Well, I'm afraid we haven't got time for any more, but I think you'll agree that was fantastic. Some really great advice, some really good insight there. So a huge thank you to our panel. Thank you to all of us for talking today. Our next session here on the stage is at 10 o'clock. That's called Plot Twist, How We Ended Up in Tech. So I hope some of you will be able to join us for that. But for now, please put your hands together and say a big thank you to our panel.